Hello and welcome to Floyd Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Tamiya's latest release. This is the 1/48 scale F-35C Lightning II. So this is the Navy version. Obviously we've seen the standard version, if you like, of the F-35. And then obviously we've seen the Stovall version and vertical takeoff and landing one as well, being the B. Now we've got the C. Now, I know everyone thinks these are just the same. They're all the same. Trust me, this one is very much different from the other two. The other two, pretty similar size and everything. And obviously, you know, the A version, do it all and all the rest of it. The B one has obviously got that nice sort of, you know, ducted fan system at the front. And then obviously you've got the thing with the nozzle at the back for doing its vertical bit and all the rest of it. The C, think Navy at the end of the day. This is the naval variant. So, you know, this is basically going to go along with the Hornets, I assume, the Super Hornet family, and really be the sort of stealth first line in aircraft into this one. So it's got all of these Navy things going for it. So again, we've got wing fold. This thing's got a larger wing span and obviously wing size overall than obviously the other two smaller ones. It's also got different gear to it and lots of other differences as well. But think of the C, as I do, as being the big brother, the beefy version of the actual Lightning II family. Anyway, let's have a look. So, very much like the others, we've got some very nice box art going down on here. Again, it's conventional carrier, so it does use obviously the older catapult system at the front as well, and the arrestor hook for bringing it back on board. So obviously we're showing it depicted on a standard carrier, if you like, with these configurations. So run round on the box, as you can see. A couple of marking options we got for this one as well. So, and again, we've got this where it talks about it, where we've got extended and folding wingtips, so you can obviously have them up and down, and I assume various bits with the gear. Obviously this one as well, you can have the canopy open, and with the steps all on there like that, you even get a few wheel chocks with it as well. All right, so the marking options for this one down in here, you've got the sidewinders with VA86, obviously very famous one there from June 24, or we've got over here, we've got the Tomcats as well with VMFA 311 as well, and this one is from March in 24 as well. So nice marking options down in there. Your kit number for this one is 127, or as it is on the full number is 61127. All right, and a little bit more about it down there as well. So as we know, this particular version doesn't have an internal gun, so it has a gun pod instead on this one as well, and the normal sort of weapons you might expect. So we've got Sidewinder X's, we've got some AMRAAM C's, we've got some GBU 12s, and obviously JDAMs as well with a GBU 31 for the sort of standard loadout these things carry. So in the box, we are greeted by the usual, as we would expect to see on these ones, but again, different things going down on here. So obviously with the wings and the various things as well, it's got a bigger overall wingspan. As I said, it's a bit more chunky and beefier from the standard one. So you've got your standard sort of two-part front end and midsection as well, down with those two, all separate bags, all looking very nice as well. So we've got the intakes, then we've got two canopies. So, and again, these are smoked, so we're going to look at those in a moment. Then we've got a little bit of a match pair down in there for obviously all the control surfaces and things. We've got the tail surfaces, and obviously wheel wells and things like that coming together down in there. We've got some more of the clear parts as well for the sensors, pylons, and some of the weapons, bits for the nozzles in multiple sets, tail planes, the usual things. And again, we've got that big old chunky section down in here, as we saw with the other F-35s as well. Cockpit sections, pilot figure, and all of those. And again, that fantastic weapons bay that we've seen before as well. All right, we've got the usual chunky pack. And when we say chunky pack, this is a proper solid pack with everything down in there. We've got your markings, which again, I'm going to have to check, and I will have a look, but I'm pretty sure you have to cut along the lines. Why they don't die cut these, I don't know. And obviously we've got your decal sheet down in there, which we'll check out in a moment. So to start off with, let's get into our little chunky pack here. So a knife, grab a knife. All right, let's see if we can do this nicely. Okay, so huge pack. I don't remember the others being this big, but it's been a while since we've done one of these. All right, so we've got the usual bits and pieces blurb, how to model. All right, that's why. So we've got the big old colour call outs down in there, and of course we've got the instructions. All right, so if we start down in here with the instructions. All right. which is here. Get rid of these bits and we'll look at those in a moment. All right, so usual thing with Tamiya. All right, big old one. So it's talking about obviously some of the options you can have straight off the bat from down in here. So obviously the big one being if you want to have it with a refueling probe open or closed. Again, nice little touch having that so as an option. We've got the canopy if you're going to go open or closed. We've got obviously the wing fold. Are you going to be doing it open and closed? We've got the boarding ladder if you're going to be doing it open and closed. We've got the weapons can actually have the bays open and weapons ready to be deployed as well in that one. Are you going to be fitting down the gun pod as well? So we've got the centerline gun pod, and we've got the arrestor hook. Are you going to be having it up or down? So choices to be had, and obviously you can then go through the different ones on this one as well. So also I was mistaken, we do have more options down in here. We've got VF47, we've got VFA 97, we've got VFA 125, and then obviously we've got VFA 86, and then obviously we've got VMFA 31 with the Marines, and we've got the second Marine option, VMFA 314 as well. So again, different versions. You're going to have to make your options all the way through. All right. So starting off with opening up the holes where it's needed, right the way through underneath down in here, and working on the actual cockpit areas. Pretty similar to the other ones at the moment. Obviously, you've got the refueling dock being put in as well, and obviously the middle of the heat shield down at the back. Straight into the cockpit area. It's pretty bland, but again, you can do some nice things with the old weathering and things like that down in there. But as I say, being a modern aircraft, there's not a million switches like in some of the sort of, fourth gen aircraft out there. Then obviously working on the other side of the clamshell, putting down into the cockpit, the sidewalls all being fitted down into there. First part of the gear going together. Oh, is that a correction? That's something you don't see every day. All right. And then obviously working our way down in the nose well area of that one, getting those all in. And then obviously we've got the boarding ladder area being fitted. All of that bolting up and going down in there. Then obviously we've got the intakes being put in there as well. So again, really nice full length intakes right the way through. Some of the other sensor windows being fitted down in there. And that first stage of the actual forward edge of the cockpit areas and the wheel wells can all come together. And at this point, there is a correction sheet for number 6. So number 6, which is down in here, it's talking about it in this one. It's actually a decal placement one. So, so it's using about CC48, and it should be, I'm just trying to see which ones it is. All right, okay, so it looks like there's a slight discrepancy on the decals. All right, but to be honest, it looks like it's okay. But there we go. But obviously you can spend a little bit more time, but it looks like it's got the decal ones down in there. It's saying 220, and it seems to be okay with those fitted in there just like that. But anyway, it's just talking about the position of it. Should be a little bit further across than they've put it down in here. Tiniest thing, but I must admit, I think that's the first time I've seen a correction sheet on a Tamiya kit. Anyway, going our way right the way through. So again, depending on what loadout you're going with as well. So if you're going to go the full sort of, spam job and all the rest of it and have it completely loaded for there, you can actually do that one, or you can go with something a little bit more internal, perhaps just some side pointers on there, just like that. Depending on that, you're going to have to be opening up your holes underneath, which is fair enough. Then it's just a case of all the lumps and bumps, little parts going down in here, decal parts as well. It's talking about right the way through this, all the way into this one. Highlight for this kit is the weapons bay, and it's well worth spending a little bit of time either with pens or with your brushes, picking out all the details down in there, because it does really pop and come to life. All right, then we're working onto the engine section. That one's being put through there. Then we've got all the plumbing and the wiring and all the various other bits down in here as well, add into all of that detail. Tons of detail down in here. That's what I like about this particular kit. It's one of those strange kits that looks better upside down than it does on its wheels, because otherwise you don't see a lot of this kit. Get yourself a mirror. All right, wheel wells being done, same thing as well, picking out all the details right the way through. It's definitely worth spending a bit of time getting that good. All right, boarding ladder also being sorted out as well down in here. Was that boarding? Oh no, sorry, it's just the hydraulics for the gear being fitted down into here. So they're going to go through and then push through and in, and then we can close up all of that work down in there just like that. Then you've got the doors and the various parts being fitted onto this one, depending if you're going to be doing the actual gear, sorry, the rest of gear up or down. So obviously you'll be opening up the doors, putting those in all the way through. So you've got your options just for that, which is nice. The actual nozzle isn't too bad, but there is aftermarket ones floating around for this if you do want to spend a good chunk of cash on it, but they are beautiful, I must admit. So that is down in there. Main gear, wheels, the various things obviously going right the way through, and then obviously doors being fitted onto this one, and then some of the other bits going all the way through. All right, so again, just going on to these ones, take your time, get your alignments good, you'll be absolutely fine. And then same with the actual nose wheel doors being fitted in there just like that. All right. Then I don't know if we've got an option to be able to drop the actual forward strut for the catapult. Doesn't look like it is, so it looks like it's just in the stowed and up position. All right, then we've got the sensor camera for the front end being fitted down in there. So you've obviously got the lenses, and then obviously the covers, the clear covers and things like that. Hopefully there's it does say about stickers, so you have got the mask set for that one as well, which is nice. Gun pod being done and fitted into that one, main gear, door bays and all the rest of it, as you can imagine down in here, depending if you have it up or down. Weapons fit, so depending what you're going to be loading this thing out with, GBUs, you've got AMRAMs, and obviously you're going to have your sidewinders going on there as well. All right, all the covers depending on open or closed. Then it's over to the wings. So obviously you've got the tail planes being fitted onto this one first. Then you've got the sort of flapper-on system being fitted onto these. You've got the slats going up the front, pylons, all the usual bits you might expect on a kit like this all the way through. All right, so again, tail planes being fitted, rudders, doesn't look like they're positionable, although to be honest, I've never seen one that is moving. All right, so that's those down in there like that, and then obviously being fitted onto it. If you're going for wing fold, obviously you've got options for wing fold or from the extended one right the way through. So again, just making sure if you've got weapons fits and things, you've got the right holes opened up down in here for the pylons. All right, do it before you sandwich these two halves together. Lights being fitted onto the wing tips, and obviously all the bits down there with your sidewinders, and then being fitted onto it. All right, seat, usual bits and pieces for the seat, and then obviously depending on which squadron you're going with will denote what type of helmet decals are going to be placed onto those, and obviously we've got colour call out down in there for that. Seat being fitted in, pilot going in there, instrument panel being dropped in, boarding ladder being fitted onto it, refueling probe being sorted, masking up the external canopy system, canopy fit, jobs a good one. As you can see, it's not a quick shake and bake kit. There's lots going on to this. All right, it's quite a document, beautifully laid out as always by Tamiya. So very, very nice indeed. So we've got the usual crib sheet, all about the F-35, so you can learn all about it down in there. All right, so you can do that. We'll make sure we've got the corrections sheet, put that down there. Then obviously we've got your squadron call outs for this one. It's going to be a bit big down in here, so we do it in sections. So down in here, say we've got the Warhawks at the top. Very, very nice. And then down in here, we've got the Rough Raiders as well. Looking very nice with the colours and the markings down in there. And then over on here, who've we got? We've got the Tomcats being fitted on there with VMFA 31. And then down in here, we've got the Black Lions. Funny, that's the CAG bird. That's as colourful as you get on an F-35. Sad, really. Good old days, but there we go. Very nice with those. Then we've got your 1-to-1 scale, I assume. So this is the Argonauts one. So again, the nice thing with a 1-to-1 scale is you can actually just lay these out on here and make sure you get your alignment in the right place, because it is 1-to-1 scale. So that's actually a nice touch with that one. So again, full size one for here, and on the back here as well. Again, all your stencil data down onto here as well. So you see there's not a ton of stencil data, but there's enough to keep it lively, enough to keep you on your toes. So very, very nice indeed. All right, I think we know how to build a model by now. So into the staples. 1 second, bear with me. I have to do this after a particularly nasty accident when I tried to rush this once and then ended up splitting my hand in two. Okay. Okay, so decals. Tamiya has legendary thick decals. Yeah, they're quite thick, but I think they are doable and fully workable. Try and catch it in the light. There you go. It gives you an idea of it. They're almost 3D, but they're okay. They're going to be all right. They are thick, and I think that's the major criticism Tamiya have always had with their decals. Are very thick, but you don't have trouble with colour. Some of the gorgeous ones down there, so we've got the Argonauts, as you can see, and some of the others. Very, very nice indeed with all of those. So that looks pretty darn good. And then we've got the mast set, which is not cut, so you need to cut along the lines to get your mast set down in there. We've got a couple of bars as well, so we've got some rod down in there, and then we've also got, I assume it's the weapons and the various parts, the high vis stuff. There we go. We've got these done as well, and again looking very nice, if a little bit thick, if we're honest. All right, so various parts. Right, so let's get into the good stuff. So to start off with, we have the main fuselage section, which, to be honest with you, is really nice. Now that everyone's stopped painting these god-awful ram tape marks all over these, they're a lot better. And again, it is quite pronounced, but I would say it's about right in this scale. Obviously, if you'd seen that, which we have done in the past on sort of, you know, 48 scale and things like that, it's a little bit, yeah. But I think that's perfectly acceptable on the scale. It looks about right to me. Very, very nice surface details, everything we could want. Yeah, really very, very nice. Cockpit detail with obviously all the latch marks and all the rest of it is very nice as well. Inside, clearly, there's nothing apart from obviously a little bit of support structure when you're going to be mounting everything in here. All right. But again, it's that normal, tough, hard, hear it, sort of clunky plastic. So yeah, typical Tamiya, shall we say. So on the underside, we are greeted by, I'm wondering if that's slide molded. The way that this is done looks to be that this is actually slide molded, just because of this framework and things. It may be just protection, but they would have been done that way, kicked out of the mold this way. So yeah, I don't think it is, but yeah, interesting way that they've done it. But again, the detail is where, you know, your money's going at the end of the day. Beautiful stuff. This little details down in here. This is for that. You're going to have a lens covering all of this. You're never going to see it, but hey. All right, and then down under here, you've got so much detail going around on here. It's always funny how you get the naysayers out there say about the F-35s, like, oh, there's no detail, it's just a grey lump. Yeah, not when you're up close to them, they're not. All right, so again, all the facets and the angles is what makes these things so much fun to work on, because you can do various things with them. A little bit of dry brushing, for instance, goes so far on these. A little bit of oil dry brushing goes mega on these. They look fantastic. Again, really complex shape, beautifully done. Some complex molding down in here, all in one. So, yeah, very, very nice indeed. Okay, right, so intakes and the like. So, again, a lot of this stuff, clearly you're never going to see it, but it's very nice the way that it's actually done. So, again, this fine detail in here that you're never going to see, it is quite nice. And again, no ejector pins, and it's really complex. You know, years ago you'd never got this out of the mold on the sort of face side as this is. This is the blind side with the ejector pins, but it would have struggled. But now with modern technology, not a problem at all. And again, we've got the blades looking pretty smart. Intake blade, the sawtooth edge on these edges, as you can see, really fine, crisply molded, typical Tamiya. Canopy up and down, slight different variants because they've molded in the rear stop on here, you see. So that's the stop. Obviously, we hope that the canopy opens forward. It's going to be a drop-in fit. If you're going to be closed canopy, it doesn't have it. So what that's telling me is you can have both and just interchange them, which is great. All right, so very nice. Okay, so if we just jump into here. So big old sprues now. And again, this is where Tamiya really has got it down pat, because this detail in here is beautifully done. Really, really nice. And again, the wiring has that sort of 3D look to it. It's not sort of flat like we've seen before. It looks very, very nice. And again, with some careful painting, detailing and stuff, you can end up with something really very, very smart in here. Inside these doors, you might notice you've got various raised details all the way through, looking very, very nice. So yeah, we just have a bit of a run round. Let's see, looking very, very nice. Various parts, all looking very good. That piping, So yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun, I think, working your way through on these. This one's a cutter. Okay, so again, this section back here, which everything attaches into, really very, very nice indeed. Very, very cool. It's interesting how they, nowadays, you always used to have a face side and a blind side. So for instance, what catches my eye is that it doesn't matter anymore. You know, we've got the pilot figure here, but obviously you've got the cockpit on this side. So there's no blind side. It's a bit like here with this part here. And obviously you've got the details on the other side. So this is technically what used to be back in the day a blind side, but there's no such thing now. The moulding is so good that it doesn't matter which side it's on, as long as it's all coming out cleanly. All right, so if we let's go on the face side, then we can go through on the other side. So looking very, very nice pilot figure. You can see with his helmet on, looking very, very good. Looking smart, all the details. That wheel well on the back. There's that cockpit section. So there's not a great deal going on with this. There's only a handful of buttons and switches, but what there is looks absolutely fantastic. And again, you've got the instrument panel just down in here. Looks very good. Very nice. Okay, so over to the section down in here. So you've got your tail planes and your various parts onto this one. We've got the gun pod, again, another sawtoothed area down in here. So again, looks all very clean and crisp and nice. Typical Tamiya, let's face it, at the end of the day. I'm not expecting rough parts and things, but I've been very disappointed in years gone by where Tamiya's not pushing the limit. But it looks like we're off to the races again, because the recessed detailing down in here, again, cameras finding the light, there we go. You can see that is so fine, beautifully done. You know, just generally, I think they're very, very nice indeed. And the usual thing, where you have got ejector pins, this is a classic example of Tamiya being really clever. You look at these parts here and you're like, oh, there's no ejector pins, but there is. But you have to really search for them, because there they are. You can just see one here. And there's one here. There's another one up here. But look how close they are. That's amazing. Really, really good that they've got them that fine that unless you go searching for them, you can't really see them. Some parts, yeah, clearly they've just whacked them in there, you know, down these tails. But where it counts, they've taken the time to make sure they're really pushed out of the way. So that's very good. Again, wheel wells, obviously quite important on this aircraft. That's what I talk about, where you perhaps you display it upside down, because this is a classic example of all the detail is underneath. So all this beautiful detail down in here is going to be underneath the actual model itself. So again, you can see, looks absolutely fantastic. Really very, very nice indeed on all of these parts, you know. So very, very nicely done indeed. Okay, we've got a match pair down in here in a sealed bag. So, is it a match pair? Is it a match pair? Is it a match pair? No, it's not. Two separate pairs, I think. Are they doing a match pair? Just trying to work this out. Yeah, no, separates. So, we've got EE and EE. It is a match pair. Why am I missing the boxes? Oh, I see what they've done. Yeah. Okay, so we do have match pair here. Very, very nice indeed. So you can see we've got the hinge work down in here. This is for the wing fold system. Looks very nice indeed. And obviously on the other side, you've just got the flat one. So, but again, you can see down in here. And again, little call outs for lefts and rights. For these when they're plumbing in, just to aid you a little bit more, making sure the model has got it all in the right places. Again, tyres. No weight on wheels though. So again, never really do that, Tamiya. Don't know why. Very nice. Sidewinder rails. Sidewinder X's. Okay, so this is definitely a match pair. We've got down in here, here's the weapons and the exhausts. All right, so I'll just get one out. So again, this is spruce C. So we've got the J-dams and bits of exhausts on here. So if we start up on this one, you can see we've got those exhausts. We've got the J-dam, the big 2,000 pound J-dam. We've got the AMRAMs down in here, another Sidewinder X, and the pylons. And then obviously you've got the GBU 12s and the various parts of that one. Looking very nice indeed. We've got two canopies. I'm not going to bother getting these out, but they've got that yellowy tint on there. So they've done the old yellowy tint. So you've got two. So what this means is you can have the canopy one up, one down, and then interchange them, which is a very nice touch. And then again, I won't bother getting these out because they're just flat and you can see them in the bag. There's nothing really to see. Looking very, very nice. And if you are wondering, no, there is no seam. There's no centre seam in these or anything else like that. Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm going to have to get one out now. Right, hold on. Only because I don't know if that's a centre seam. It has got a centre seam, but it's the finest centre seam I think I've seen. In fact, that's incredibly fine. There's a tiny little line running right the way through, but it could be an aerial system on the canopy. Don't know how well the camera is getting it. You can just see it there next to the light. It's there, but it is very, very fine. There is supposed to be one running around here, we know, because obviously it's in there. I don't know the F-35 that well, so it could be that it should be there. But you can see the one on the inside. That's just down there. But the tint itself, I don't know, you know. Again, they're not that heavily tinted. It's not like an F-22 with the gold and things like that where you can't even see through it. So I don't think that's too bad at all. There you have it. It's typical Tamiya. It's glorious. It's amazing. You know it's going to fit with no issues at all, and you're going to end up with something absolutely fantastic. That's all you can really say. What I would say is, though, that obviously this aircraft gets a lot of heat. It's just a grey aircraft. It's boring. You've got some nice options in there. You've got some really nice details as well. But you're going to need a mirror to see most of it because it's all underneath, unfortunately, and that's part of the world we live in now with modern aircraft and things like that. Gone are the days with the overwing missiles like on Jaguars and things. So if you want to see it, you're going to have to put it on a mirror, but it would be worth it. The level of detail that's underneath this model around that weapon base system, around the wheel wells, especially the nose well, even right down to that forward camera underneath the nose there, looks absolutely fantastic. The cockpit, the pilot figure as well, looks really, really good with it. And I think if you're doing a little mini diorama about sort of A3 or sort of A2 size like this, I think you could have some real fun with it as well, putting it on a carrier deck. For me, it's an absolute must. I am a fan of the aircraft. I do quite like it. And the C, I think, is legendary. So I think it's going to be one of those aircrafts going to do really, really well. And it's got all of the classic things of a normal sort of fighter strike aircraft, as well as being really stealthy and a bit sneaky at the end of the day. Anyway, that's an absolute must from me, clearly, because it's Tamiya. But what that is the Tamiya 1/48 scale F-35C Lightning II.